He was the most powerful being in the universe. A king who had defeated his own father to claim the throne of the cosmos. But power was not enough for Cronus. Because Cronus lived in fear. Fear of a prophecy that whispered the same warning over and over in his mind, that one day a child of his own blood would rise up and destroy him. And so he made a decision so monstrous, so unthinkable, that it would echo through eternity. Every child born to him, he swallowed alive. This is the story of Cronus, the Titan king who devoured his own children. Cronus was the youngest and boldest of the 12 Titans, the children of Rhea the earth and Uranus the sky. His father Uranus was a cruel and paranoid ruler who feared his own offspring so deeply that he pushed his monstrous children back into Rhea's womb to keep them imprisoned. Rhea writhed in agony and rage. She fashioned a sickle from flint and called upon her children to rise against their father. Every Titan recoiled in fear, except Cronus. That night Cronus ambushed his father in the darkness, struck him down with the sickle and castrated him. From the blood and flesh of Uranus came new beings, the Furies, the giants, and from the sea foam the beautiful goddess Aphrodite herself. Uranus, defeated and broken, cursed Cronus with his final breath. He prophesied that just as Cronus had overthrown him, so too would Cronus be overthrown by his own son. Cronus laughed at the prophecy. He was now king of the universe. Nothing could stop him. Or so he thought. With Uranus defeated, Cronus established his reign over the entire cosmos. He imprisoned the Cyclopes and the Hecatonchires deep in Tartarus, the dark abyss beneath the earth, because he feared their power. He took his sister Rhea as his wife, and together they ruled over a golden age of the Titans. The world flourished under their lordship. The Titans multiplied and produced many powerful offspring. Cronus sat on his dark throne, sickle in hand, master of all creation. But the prophecy of Uranus never left his mind. It haunted him day and night. What if the curse was real? What if one of his children truly would rise against him? Cronus could not take that chance. And so he made the most terrible decision in the history of the cosmos. He would swallow every child Rhea bore him, alive, before they could ever grow strong enough to threaten him. And so it began. Rhea gave birth to her first child, a daughter named Hestia, goddess of the hearth. Before the infant could even take her first breath in the world, Cronus snatched her and swallowed her whole. Then came Demeter, goddess of the harvest. Swallowed. Then Hera, who would one day become queen of the gods. Swallowed. Then Hades, the future ruler of the underworld. Swallowed. Then Poseidon, the future god of the sea. Swallowed. 5 divine children. 5 times Rhea had carried a child inside her. 5 times she had endured the pain of birth. And 5 times she had watched Cronus consume her child like they were nothing. The gods were alive inside their father, trapped, powerless, unable to be born into the world. Rhea was devastated. But she was also furious. And a fury that has been building for 5 children is a very dangerous thing. When Rhea discovered she was pregnant for the 6th time, she made a decision. She would not let Cronus take this child. She traveled in secret to the island of Crete, far from the eyes of her husband, and there in a hidden cave she gave birth to her 6th child. A son. She named him Zeus. She entrusted the infant to the nymphs of Crete who raised him in secret, hidden deep in the caves of the island. Then Rhea returned to Cronus. She wrapped a large stone in swaddling cloth, the same cloth a newborn would be wrapped in, and handed it to her husband. Cronus, paranoid and hungry to eliminate the threat, grabbed the bundle and swallowed it without a second thought. He never even looked. He never suspected. Somewhere on the island of Crete, a divine child was growing, raised by nymphs, fed on honey and goat's milk, growing stronger every day. His name was Zeus, and he knew exactly who he was, and exactly what had been done to his brothers and sisters. Zeus grew to manhood in secret on Crete, filled with rage and purpose. When the time came, he sought out the Titaness Metis, goddess of wisdom and cunning, who prepared for him a powerful emetic potion. A potion that would force Cronus to vomit up everything he had swallowed. Zeus disguised himself as a cupbearer and infiltrated his father's court. He poured the potion into Cronus's goblet and watched as the Titan King drank it down. What happened next shook the foundations of the cosmos. Cronus convulsed violently, and one by one he vomited up every child he had swallowed. First the stone he had mistaken for Zeus, then Poseidon, then Hades, then Hera, then Demeter, then Hestia. All alive, all furious, all ready for war. The 6 children of Cronus stood together for the first time. United by rage, united by purpose. And at the center of them all stood Zeus, the child Cronus never knew existed. The son the prophecy had warned him about. Cronus stared at the faces of his children and finally understood. The prophecy of Uranus had come true. What followed was the greatest war the universe had ever seen. A 10-year battle that shook the very foundations of creation. The gods versus the titans. And at the end of it Cronus and his titans were defeated, bound in chains and hurled into the deepest pit of Tartarus where they would remain for eternity. Cronus had done everything in his power to prevent the prophecy from coming true. He had swallowed his children alive. He had ruled the cosmos with an iron fist. And yet, in the end, the very actions he took to prevent his downfall were the ones that guaranteed it. If he had never swallowed his children, Rhea would never have been driven to save Zeus. Zeus would never have grown up with the burning desire for revenge. The prophecy fulfilled itself because Cronus tried to stop it. Some fates cannot be escaped. But the war between Zeus and the Titans, the 10-year battle that destroyed mountains and shook the heavens themselves, that story deserves its own telling. How did Zeus defeat an army of immortal Titans? What weapons did he use? And what happened to Cronus after he was defeated? That is the story of our next video. Subscribe to Gods and Legends so you don't miss it. The war is just beginning.